video will be up later. This will probably go public, private, whatever. But I want to dive deep into that more. But if he's not on the ballots, man, and he's not running for president anymore, just to keep Kamala Harris out of the race, to make sure she doesn't win, then that would be smart, man. Honestly. And I had a preview of one of these videos, my guys, and they said that Kamala Harris is winning in the polls. No offense to anybody who votes for her. I'm like, how is that even possible? How is she winning in the polls, right? But this is RFK as of now, right? He's having trouble with New York. He had to go to court, see if he could get that state, right? But just doesn't look like he's gonna be on all the states. It might change, right? He might actually get into this thing, right? So he's gotta get 538 electoral votes. So that's a lot. Now I just can't believe that Kamala has a lot of votes. That boggles my mind, boys. That really does. I don't understand how, but that's politics, man. I changed the hat. Can't put on headphones with it on. But change the hat. But we're gonna do some reactions, boys. Get straight into the sauce, right? Yeah.
Very dangerous people.
Can I ask you about RFK? Because just moments ago, his running mate said that they were considering endorsing you. Have you considered him for a role in the administration, and what role would that be?
Well, we haven't, but I would love that endorsement because I've always liked him.
Would you also consider putting him in the administration?
You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen. He's a very different kind of a guy, a very smart guy. And yeah, I would be honored by that endorsement. Certainly.
Whoa, hold up. This is a completely turn, slap to the face, say, hey guy, I'm peeing in your water right here. Because just months ago, he just said that this guy, RFK, is far left. He's so strict on gun laws. Now this. These politicians are so snaky. Don't want to be judgmental, but they're like snake in oil, bro. They're just moving and grooving. Doing whatever will help them push. I mean, what do we expect, right? They're politicians. They lie for a living. So what can we expect? I mean, they're not God. They're not saints or anything, Sorry about the dirty teeth. I just drank some coffee. But, yeah. That's very odd. But these guys are politicians, We can't I'm not going to expect them. I'm not going to speak for you guys because, you guys live a different life than me, But, yeah, it's just odd to see him just do a complete U-turn. But I guess he's just being nice to the media, Just doing the nice thing. Not really respectable, But let's continue.
A great endorsement from Elon Musk, which I think meant a lot. And, we're leading with all of the lies and all of the everything. I watched last night. It was so sad when I looked at the lies talking about Charlottesville. Charlottesville is totally debunked. You know that. But when you talk about all... No. Biden said he ran because of Charlottesville. First of all, he doesn't know what Charlottesville is. The guy doesn't know where he is. But he didn't run because of Charlottesville. It's just an excuse. But the whole Charlottesville story was totally debunked. All of the things they said were debunked. The soldiers in France with the grave. I love our soldiers. That was a made-up story by a magazine.
And you saw what John Kelly said in response to your comments about the congressional medal.
John Kelly, I fired him. And John Kelly has an axe to grind, and he made up a story. Nobody would say what he said. I would be the last person to say, he's a liar. He's been a proven liar. He's lied on other occasions. I respect people. After I got to know him, I realized he wasn't the right guy. I fired him. See, Biden never fired anybody, ever. because, I mean, why didn't he fire people after Afghanistan, that disaster? He should have fired his whole top.
Now, there are some things I get along with Trump on, if, to be honest, boys, if RFK is not in the race anymore and he endorses Trump, I will probably vote for Trump, to be honest. I'm not going to vote for the left, because, it's the left, right? Not going to vote for those fellas and ladies and, other people, you know what I mean? Other genders, I guess. I don't know what they call themselves these days. God bless them. Wish them the best. May not agree with them. Wish them the best. Hope they find Jesus. But, I mean, yeah. That's who I'll probably vote for. It was between him and RFK. And if RFK's dropping out of the race. But what boggles my mind, boys, is that somehow Kamala Harris is winning in the percentages. That is mentally out there, right? That is insane. How? It's over, I think, if that's happening. Another crazy election, as I would say, right? Another crazy election, as every year. But it just seems like these elections have gotten crazier and crazier, and the times have gotten crazier, and we let one side take control of everything. So if you say something they don't like, your life is over. It is done. And that has to stop, because that's taking free speech away. Now, we can debate, but in a healthy way, right? Debate. Respect one another and come with the proven facts, right? And say, hey, I don't think this is right. Here's my sources. And respect one another. But these yelling matches and calling people dumb and stuff, it's never going to solve anything. These ways are never going to solve anything. As you guys know, you guys are smart. But come in November, if I do vote, it'll be for if RFK's still in the race. But the thing is, does he have a chance to win at this point, right? They're talking about dropping out of the race. Now, that's a tricky slope right there, man. Because if they drop out of the race, it's between two evils, right? Now, Kamala, no thank you. Trump, I don't know, bro. Because I know he'll do good things, right? But my guy was probably RFK, not gonna lie. That was my guy. I felt it. But I also felt a little bit off, right? So it was like mixed bag of feelings, like a rock in a bag, and then you got some meth or something. I don't know. But if I had to choose between Kamala and Trump, I'd go Trump. And it's sad to see that we can't have a better option, right? That's the saddest part about this, because both parties, as you guys know, are buying each other out. They're bought out by big companies and corporations. The war machine is still ongoing. The FBI, CIA, all these problems, right? That need to be fixed. And there's this, secret group, NWO, controlling things, all that stuff. I didn't know I had to whisper that, but a lot of things going on, man. Nothing we can control. Heck, I don't know if our voting matters anymore since 2020, right? I don't think it matters that much, but I did want to vote for our. Let's see what Trump says.
The most embarrassing moment of this country's history. That's my respect for him, because I would say a thing like that. Nobody would say a thing like that.
You're saying what he said, you said.
6 people that dispute that story, but nobody wants to write about that. We have 26.
I have one that might turn off.
Well, I like smart people, and Republicans like me. We had the quickest approval process in the history of the nominating.
Okay, they're just, bro, I'm tired of Republican, Democrat, tired of both sides, bro. It is insane. All right, how to open closed minds.
This is all just one big yank. It seems like more and more people are getting hip to that it's not two parties, and it's not of, by, and for the people in any way.
Yeah.
It's just corporate self-interest, and everything they do is to protect themselves from any sort of judgment or any kind of responsibility or accountability.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think I'm not as optimistic about how many Americans recognize it. I think the mainstream media.
Oh, please fake it with me, because I get so depressed that nobody gets it.
Everybody else is still in the psyop, or a lot of people.
How would we break it?
I don't know how you unravel an orthodoxy, because information doesn't do it. People are totally impervious to facts. A friend of mine is a psychiatrist. I said to them, how do you persuade somebody who is completely subsumed in that kind of religious-like belief system?
Yeah.
Because if you challenge somebody on their religion, it just makes them dig in.
Yeah.
And he said that's a feature of every orthodoxy, that it's impervious to facts. It's impervious to...
Well, I think one fact is that Jesus is Christ is Lord. I mean,
any kind of...
You don't want to push that, but I know a lot of you guys may not believe that, but I mean, he did come down here. But yeah, let's continue.
External stimulus, and that he said the only way that you can do it is through the Socratic method of you don't fight back, you just ask questions, and as long as you keep doing that and you don't fight them on it, but just say, is this what you expected the benefit to be from it, and is that working for you, and to do it in a way that's gentle and non-confrontational, so that people maybe are stimulated to begin asking questions on their own.
I mean, that's definitely a great way to do it, man. How else? I mean, yeah, definitely. Starting with questions and not like.
The last time we.
Okay, shut up then. Sorry, guys, looking at another video. But yeah, that's definitely a great way to, get to know someone, debate, not by attacking, but by asking questions. That is one. Let's watch this one where it's about the polling, I think that would be a good video to watch. It's definitely crazy.
What does tonight mean? What can they do in these last 4 days? You know how we all feel about polls. It's kind of nice that everybody's becoming a seller of them kind of at the same time. But they are an effective measure of what they can get done here. So we got to know where they're starting so that we have something to set it against. At the end of it, we start getting new numbers. So let's go to News Nation now. Host Connell McShane, the master of the wall. It's good to see you, my young brother, as always. Where do we start as we start watching the Democrats tonight? Where is the state of play?
Okay, the state of play is behind me right on the big wall here, with Democrats at 226 electoral votes, Republicans at 219, 7 swing states up for grabs, means there are 93 toss-up votes. What's interesting about this is if the election were literally held tonight, we do not know who would win. But you can make a credible argument, and that's why the Democrats feel good, that Kamala Harris might have a slight advantage. After all, she's up 4 points in the average of the polls, if you include Rfk Jr. along with President Trump. And
how is that possible? Explain it to me, bro. Oh my goodness, we are screwed, boys. If that happens, we are screwed. It's over. The United States is done for. Not wanting to fearmonger, but this is really that serious, bro. Because if that happens, it's same last 4 years is gonna commence again. It's not gonna change. It's only gonna get worse. None of this is gonna get better, right? If that person gets in office, it's not gonna get any better. The same people will be in the Congress. They'll put worse people in. All of this will not get any better. It'll stay the same. More inflation, a Great Depression, all this stuff will happen. Not saying, take it as you will, but it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, honestly.
And that is a remarkable difference from a month ago. So before we talk about the new map, let's think about what the old map was. When the Republicans came out of their convention, you talk to people close to the Trump campaign, they thought they had 293 electoral votes locked in. How? Well, North Carolina certainly was leaning to the red. So was Georgia. All of the Sun Belt states, 11 electoral votes in Arizona, Nevada as well. They had a lead, the Republicans thought, in Pennsylvania, the key state, 19 votes. They liked their chances in Wisconsin. So even if Harris or then Biden were to win Michigan, they thought the race was at least 297 GOP, 241 for the Dems. Now, on this tablet in front of me, I have a button that literally says reset, okay? It's right here. Reset. That's what happened when Harris got in the race. And I would argue that even North Carolina, which leans red on our reset map, is now a toss-up state. So one last look at it here. Where's the race right now? Again, we don't know who would win. But if you take the average of the swing state polls, and again, behind me, there's 7 swing states, and you look at literally where they are. They're all within the margin of error.
How is North Carolina a swing state, bro? Maybe they're not as country as South Carolina, and they got a couple big cities. But that is crazy that there would be a swing state or even blue. Bro, they're out of the South after that. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But now it's just crazy that the Democrats would have that much votes in. It's insane to think about, right? That Kamala has this many votes. What has she done in office? Just saying. What has she done in office? What has Biden done in office? Are we seriously gonna vote in the same people that put us through all this inflation and almost a Great Depression? Are we seriously gonna vote these same guys in? I mean, not trying to speak for you guys or anything like that, but I'm definitely not. But how is this even possible? It's crazy. It's insane. Now, I don't like Trump as much as the other, the other cousin. Not as much. Not the biggest fan of Trump. But I take Trump over here. I'd rather vote for RFK. Not gonna lie. But if I had to choose between Harris and Trump, it would be Trump, right? It would be him. Now, I don't like the whole idolization of Trump. Putting the little things on your ear, bro. He's not an idol. He's not going to save us from our sins. That's only God. That's only Christ. But, yeah. It is crazy to see that they have this much of a... right?
Error. But if they were absolutely right, in other words, if someone has a 1/10 of a point lead, they won, what would happen? Well, let's look at it. We can start it off in Pennsylvania, the key state. Harris is up about 1.5 points, okay? So that would be blue. Then Michigan next to it, same thing, about a 1.5 point lead for Harris. In Wisconsin, she's up about 5. So that's the blue wall rebuilt. She's already at 270 in this scenario. 270 needed to win. Now, you start to work through those other states. I'll skip North Carolina for a moment. Georgia, Trump's up about 0.5 point, so we'll fascinating. Harris actually has small leads in the average in both of those states, and look what happens. Now we're at 297.
Back and forth.
Yep.
They're just...
This is biased, bro. Guys like RFK, bro. Yeah, bro, how's that crazy? These comments, bro, alright. I'm not saying the Democrats, sides are done. But it is crazy. This is... I don't trust the news. L-lie.
Joining me right now, Democratic strategist and former advisor to the Obama campaign, Amisha Cross, and Brendan Buck, MSNBC political analyst, and previously served as press secretary to former VP candidate in Nevada and Georgia, although within the margin of error. But overall,
how is Georgia gonna become Democrat? Oh yeah, because of
after those suburban voters. She's going after evangelical voters. There's evangelicals for Harris, for goodness sakes. We haven't seen
evangelicals for Harris. What is going on with that, bro?
Only so, frankly, and
dude, that's just crazy, man. Toxic. But yeah, it's definitely insane because if we look at the ballots for RFK, he was late to his court dates to get on the ballots in New York. So that doesn't... All these states for RFK, I mean, it's going to be tough. To be honest, it doesn't look bright for RFK because he has to go through all these loopholes, and we're just a couple of ways from the election. And they were talking about him dropping out of the race and endorsing Trump. Now,
It's created
that wouldn't be an awful thing, right? If that helps less of two evils win, right? But I mean, I'm just tired of this system where you gotta pick either one bad guy or one other bad person. You know what I mean? It's like, why don't we fix it, like, clean sweep out the swamp, dude? Get the best people in office that we can that actually is going to protect the people's rights as Americans and put up a good economy and take care of the people and give them the best advantage, right? Fix up the school systems, you know? And they're not going to do that. Let's be honest here. Most of them are not going to do that. Also, the housing prices, like the inflation, everything needs to be fixed. But are they actually going to do these things?
I did not put in tens of millions of dollars to be a spoiler candidate. I put in tens of $millions to win, to fix this country, to do the right thing. I will say that Clear Choice, this PAC, this DNC aligned PAC that was created specifically to take us out, has spent millions of dollars to take us out. They have unfortunately turned us into a spoiler. And we don't want to be a spoiler. We wanted to win. We wanted a fair shot. The DNC made that impossible for us. They have banned us, shadow banned us, kept us off stages, manipulated polls, used lawfare against us, sued us in every possible state.
They don't want you to win.
They've even planted insiders into our campaign to disrupt it and to create actual legal issues for us. I mean, the extent by which the sabotage they've unleashed upon us, it's mind-blowing. I mean, we're still learning new ways that they have sabotaged us. I really wanted a fair shot at this election, and I believed in the America that a little girl pledged an allegiance to.
Yeah.
And that is not where we are today. And it's not because of the Republican Party taking us out. It is exclusively because of the Democratic Party taking us out. And I am so disappointed I ever helped them. I am so disappointed that I helped Chuck Schumer in that Georgia runoff secure a majority. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes of my life. And it's really devastating. So to answer your question, we are not spoilers. That was never our motivation. We really wanted a fair shot. I think had we had a fair shot, we would have won. I still would love to see in the last 80 days of this election some miracle play out where we get a chance to debate. I don't think they're going to let us.
Yeah.
You know, given this, I think we are taking a very serious look at making sure that the people that have corrupted our fair and free democracy do not end up in office in November. It's hard. I mean, it's really hard, Tom, to say these words.
So what are we going to do after if Trump gets elected for the next 4 years, right? What are we going to do after that? Is it just going to be this cycle of, let's get this guy and he's going to change things for a few years. Then this other person comes in and they ruin the whole thing, right? What are we going to do after that? Let's continue.
Because it's also acknowledging how bad things are.
Yeah, it's hard to hear the words. Do you guys see any path to victory at this point?
I mean, technically, if we can stay on the ballots, we've qualified for all the ballots now, which is like an enormous feat. Like you don't understand. The system was designed after Ross Perot to keep this from ever happening again, and we accomplished it. So technically, we could win. We could absolutely win still. The problem is if you censor a candidate, as we've been censored, people don't get a chance to even hear us. Yeah. So, you know, there's two options that we're looking at. And one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump, and you know, we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision.
I think they would understand.
Easy.
Clearly.
Yeah, not an easy decision.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all we get, man. Blackout games, 100%. I mean, it's all the same circle, man. We need like another Theodore Roosevelt to come do a whole bunch of cool stuff and fix up the country and get us ready for what's to come, you know? And to actually help the people of the United States, not these other people, right? Not these other wars. That's the cycle we're in, Blackout Games. I completely agree with you, man. Because they all lie. I feel like RFK might have been the guy. You know, I had some gripes with him. I wanted him to go in more detail about like AR-15, like stuff like that, because that's very bland. We need more details, right? But I mean, if we get Trump elected, he's not our savior. He's not gonna save us. It's up to us. It is all nuts, man, and the cycle doesn't change unless we the right person in office. Not the right person in office, unless we do a clean sweep of the swamp. But I don't know if I can react to Alex Holmes on YouTube. Maybe one day that'll be a Rumble on stream. React to that. But yeah, it just also weird to see that Trump coming back onto RFK after he said he's very far left. Let's listen.
But for all. Cheaters.
Nasty people.
Fraud.
Oh, we're not gonna have a country left. Lying.
Predators.
So now we have a new victim. Lying Kamala Harris.
I know Donald Trump's type.
Lyin apostrophe.
Sexual abuse.
You're fired.
There's a crisis in our country that's deeper than any of the other issues that politicians normally talk about. It's the crisis of division.
And it took us 230 years of visionary, disciplined leadership by Republican and Democratic presidents to build up those reservoirs of love and respect. And
like Theodore Roosevelt, man. Like Thomas Jefferson. People tore down his statue, but don't forget, he's the reason why we have the Bill of Rights. Now, I don't agree with him for making his own Bible. I don't really agree with him on that, right? Because it's just not something I agree with, and I can't. But else than that, him creating the Declaration of Independence, him getting the Louisiana Purchase at the time, you know, that was really a beautiful and amazing move he did, right? Andrew Jackson, he was against central banking, but he also had the problems with, you know, Native Americans, you know, all that stuff. But he was against central banking, and it's a problem now, right? And I like what RFK just said, right? It wasn't just Republicans. It's all of us. Remember, when we fought the British, yeah, there was loyalists who fought with the British for some oddly reason. But respect them, they actually fought. But it was all of us as Americans. When have we forgotten that, right? When I was raised in South Carolina, man, I was proud to be American. I wasn't proud of my government. I was proud to be American. That's what it means. Being American doesn't mean you love your government. It means you love the people. What it stands for. Better, right? I think we all forgotten this. I have it, to be honest, because of the corruption in States and social media. It's all part of their plan, man, to make us hate each other, to make us so brainwashed, and to say, hey, you're a liberal fuck. I'm a Republican. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. And I beat my wife. What? That's crazy. But blackout games, it's gonna be tough, man. Because one thing is can he win? And do we really want Kamala Harris to be president? I don't think so. That's just me. No offense to you guys that are voting for her, but I don't stand with the politics she is putting into office when she's getting there. If she has any policies to run, because I haven't heard any. I've heard what RFK wants, and I heard a little bit of what Donald Trump wants, right? Big Daddy Trump. I've heard what he wants to do in office. Now, she's been in office for the last 4 years, right? Vice president. Big job. I love her. Not really. God bless her, you know? Right? BI. But last 4 years wasn't that cool, man. Inflation, just a whole bunch of problems within the governments. And I just don't want the next 4 years to be like this, right? I want my country to run smooth and put America first. There's nothing wrong with that. All other countries put American first. We got to fix ourselves before we try to improve other countries. One big problem is that RFK cannot. Okay, hold up. Big twist in U.S. politics. RFK and Trump alliance confirmed to. Wait, hold up. It hasn't been confirmed yet, though. They stole my thumbnail. No, I'm joking. No. RFK is happening. These were the. Okay, but he said worse things about him in the past, so that's kind of weird. Yeah, how is RFK? He came with the receipts, bro. You gonna call him a whack job? That's how a bunch of people in the United States think. These people don't get it. No offense to them, right? Both sides don't see the other aisle. Sometimes I don't. When I get really mad and aggravated, I'm like those dang liberals with the pink hair drinking their Starbucks, screaming "Yas, slay." You know, I get pretty aggravated about Starbucks. You know, really mad. Really, amped up. I'm really chuffed up at that point. But, I mean, this back and forth, I was like, you're dumb. No, I'm dumb. Or you're dumb. Whatever, however it goes, But RFK came with the receipts, with all the, jab and stuff like that. And he said he wasn't against any other vaccines, right? Just this one years ago, right? He was only against that one. What's the problem with that? He came with the receipts. He took down a lot of big companies and corporations, bro. He took down a lot of corporations that was harming the people. They don't care about the frogs turning gay. Nothing wrong with being gay. But chemicals in the water hurting us. Seems like people don't care about that. We just want to get fat and get diabetes, right? Yeah. I don't know. But, nah, man. I just don't like people slandering RFK and calling him a whack job, which I don't think he is. And, yeah, how many, no, bro, that's insane. I don't think she is. It's just the news spreading weird things, right? That's what they always do. Look at Vietnam. Look at all these things, bro. But I really gotta urinate. Sorry, boys. I'll be back in a second. I gotta get some water. Use the bathroom. All right, boys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go to the bathroom. But it's just, RFK becoming president is a long shot. It's a underdog story, right? Something I wanted to be behind, right? And a lot of other people. God bless those people. Because I think I'm gonna speak for myself. I can't speak for you guys, because you guys are you guys, right? I just want a better country. Now, I love the structure of the country, the way it is structured, checks and balances, that the president shouldn't be making all the moves by himself. He should have to get a bill passed. But there comes a problem when all the people are bought out in Congress and the Senate, right? Now, that's where the problem resides, because you can't pass a bill. Now, Theodore Roosevelt, he passed bills he passed over 1,000 executive orders, right, when he was president in the early 1900s. We can connect the times of the early 1900s till now, because us as Americans are being bullied by the government and the federal government and by the social media, right? Now, Trump allowed this bill to pass where companies can sell our data. Now, I don't think that's right. I don't agree with that when Trump passed that. That should be illegal, right? And Trump said that the death penalty should be placed on Snowden. I don't think that's right. Right? We shouldn't wish death on anyone. And the thing is, I believe what he did, Snowden, was good, because he told the American people, say, hey, this is what's happening. He aimed to help us as Americans. Now, someone as president should understand that the American people, and of course the security of the country should come first, but at that time we were doing bad things, right? Watching everyone, bombing everyone, right? And someone like that doesn't deserve death. They deserve, a helping hand. Not a helping hand, but, we shouldn't be, penalizing them. We should come together and find a deal, right? Trump is about making deals, right? Coming together, making a deal, both sides win. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I mean, if we look at how JFK handled Russia, some of the best kind of negotiations as a president, right? Russia and the United States were actually getting closer in the early 1960s when JFK was president. But that's another discussion for another day, right? I forgot where I was going, sorry. But I am just tired of this two-party system. I love the structure, but everyone's bought and sold. All these people are lying. Heck, Trump lied, bro, because months ago he said he wouldn't want RFK, didn't want anything to do with him or something like that. He just said he was a far leftist, he's against guns and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to judge, man. I just want America to be great. That's all I want, man. I want America to be America first and help the citizens, because, that's what the country is supposed to be, right? But we've become Rome, where we get everyone confused and just focused on the fighting, right? Everyone's focused on the fighting right now. World Economic Forums. What a great place that is, bro. Gum. Okay, we can't look at that. But the two-party system it's over, man. But yeah, it's hard to see RFK winning right now. If I had to choose between Harris, I need to stop saying this during the live stream. But RFK is probably going to endorse Trump and stand beside him. Hopefully he gets a job, because he deserves one. He'll do great in the cabinets, honestly. He should be able to go after these corporations and help make the system less rigged, right? I think that would be a great job for him. go after these corporations, get them out of the Senate and whatever's Congress, right? But next, I'm not gonna watch 57 minutes of that, right? Press Ginger. Shout out to Ginger's boys. Nah, but the Express Tribune. Now everyone's saying that he has dropped out. He hasn't dropped out yet, right? So we have to wait to his official statements. Yeah, considering. There we go, New York Post. Even though most of the time it's wrong, but small W for them. Yeah. Closing notes. This is where RFK is right now on the ballots. Having a tough time. He has to go through court with New York. He missed his court. he didn't miss it. He was late, right, in New York. But the only guy I see winning this is Trump, man. Because if RFK runs, he will take votes away from Trump, and that will force Harris to win most likely. And to be honest, I don't want that. That's just me speaking here. We haven't streamed in a while, but I figured this is big information since we've been covering this whole thing. And especially after Joe Rogan showed his support for RFK. That was awesome. That was amazing. And then he received so much backlash. This two-party system where everyone's going after each other just because they have different views is so dumb. That's why I wanted RFK to win, bro. Because he could actually help change society. Not that he's going to save us from everything, but he could change it and push it into a better way a little bit by leading the country, right? Now, Trump as president going after the other side is not going to solve any of these other issues, man. Which I don't want to lay all that burden on him, but he is leading our country, right? He is the leader of our country if he's elected. So he should be able to have some say and say, hey, we shouldn't be treating each other like that, right? And then him being treated like an idol, Trump after he got shot. No, bless him. I'm glad he's okay because I don't want that happening. But no one should be put up on a pedestal like that. That's what I think. But, I mean, it's going to be... I think he will drop out. That's my honest opinion. Probably going to drop out and Trump. Hopefully not Harris. And then the whole J.D. Vance as vice president. It's kind of weird that he was extra glazing our boy up. He was glazing Trump like he was like the golden bull or the giant owl, you know what I mean? It was extra glaze, man. It was going hard. And then everyone else was like doing the same thing, which I understand. Trump was shot. You want to show like, hey. But it's just weird, right? Just this whole thing is covered in weirdness. You know what I mean? Nothing of it seems normal. You know? The heel. Nah, I hope he is. But yeah, that was a month ago already. Okay, it doesn't matter. But things can change in a month. Sure can. Rules are, yeah, okay, so they rule against putting him on the ballot. Now that's messed up, bro. So you're not even going to give the people a choice to vote for, choose who they want to vote for. This two-party system's rigged. Yeah. So RFK, he does support Israel. We're gonna have to look more into that. But it's gonna be tough for him to even win or get on all the ballots. But yeah, I think he's gonna drop out and endorse Trump, because I mean, if he takes away the votes from Trump, whoa. uh, then Harris will win, and I don't want that. And I just don't trust the news to say, "Oh, who's winning in the polls? Who's getting all the states?" You know, definitely the video we looked at earlier. I feel like that was lying bad, man. That was awful. But guys, some of the future live streams that are gonna dive into darker, you know, and a little bit more crazier topics. We're gonna do them on Rumble. I'll link it on this channel after this live stream. It'll be on the channel page or whatever, you know. Or I might link it on this live stream. I'll probably link it. Hold up, give me a second. I'll link it in the comments on this live stream and in the description. We will do some live streams over there and continue our investigation over here and follow the journey, you know. See if he can act, because it's kind of tough. Because at this point, I don't know if he's gonna win. Okay, can't. Okay, right now I can't. Okay. Right now it's hard to tell if he's gonna win. I want to be. Alright, I want to be logical and not live in fantasy land. I know he can win, but it's gonna be an uphill battle. Uphill battle, man. It's gonna be tough for him, but I think he will. To be honest, speaking for. But guys, I'll try to make another live stream soon and cover some new pressing news, you know, in the next couple of weeks. But guys, as always, thank you for your amazing comments. I appreciate you guys. Please, hate to be that guy, but like the live stream and leave your opinion, man. What you think? Do you think RFK should endorse Trump and drop out of the race, or should he fight to the end like a strong man, you know? Not saying he's weak for dropping out, but definitely just to keep Harris from becoming president. I think if he has to, I'd stand behind it. Because I don't want the last 4 years to repeat itself. That would be awful and terrible. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Should he drop out and endorse him, or should he finish the race? I always enjoy you guys' comments. Just let me know. And guys, be safe out there. God bless you. And I'll see you in the next live stream.
After 10 long years, My Hero Academia is finally over. These days, it seems like many stories have a hard time sticking the landing when it comes to their finales. And although it's far from the worst, unfortunately, My Hero Academia is no different. So here is everything missing, strange, unaddressed, forgotten, or even hidden from the end of My Hero Academia. First up, there are no romantic pairings. There was a time when My Hero shippers were one of the most feared creatures in the anime community. But thanks to the final chapter, they are now on the brink of extinction. Here's a fun fact. Parents aside, Gentle and La Brava are the only couple in the entire series. They were released from prison as thanks for their contributions during the war. They got married and created a famous tech company together. The next closest thing was Kota and Eri holding hands. And they're like 6. Our main characters Deku and Uraraka getting together was something I think we all just assumed would eventually be the case. In the chapter just before the last one, Deku recounted all the times he most admired Uraraka, and it ended with them ditching Ida to spend some time together. During their final exams, Oyama figured out that Uraraka likes Deku, and she blushed so hard that she almost died. Seriously, if 13 didn't stop herself, Uraraka would have floated right into her black hole quirk. Just before the provisional license exam, Uraraka was crushing on Deku hard. It was even noticeable to her friends. But she decided to pack those feelings away so she could focus on pursuing her dream of becoming a hero. Later, there was the All Might keychain that Deku got her for Christmas. After their initial nervousness from the exchange, Uraraka kept it on her at all times. Toga even had it in her hand as she died. And in the midst of their fight, Uraraka literally admitted to being in love with Izuku Midoriya. So why in the world did they never become an item?
It's down and dirty, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it was, yeah.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do it anymore, man, and I'm not doing it.
Is it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to get a real rattle in it, too. I don't know where we were even getting it from in this country, but yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or something.
So the thing you go back to then is alcohol for the most part.
Right, yeah, but what I want probably is cocaine, but I know that if I have a drink, then it'll be like, okay, well, I had a drink, then I can do this.
Is cocaine a stronger
oh, yeah.
up?
Yeah. Cocaine
so you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You'll be out on your own porch, you know, and you'll be your own street lamp.
How did you get it?
My cousin got a boat.
Numbers. Yeah, we had the best job numbers. African American.
She's welcome to come on. I would love to get to talk to her.
I'm sure she'd be very exciting. Actually, you could make her exciting, probably.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody said she's a good roller skater. That's what I heard, which is crazy.
That's about it.
Yeah.
You want to start? You go ahead.
Yeah, we're good. Are we rolling?
Yeah, sure.
Chapter, there was a shot of them talking as snow falls, but it's really mundane and casual. To be fair, Uraraka's new hero costume does have a neck guard that is similar to Deku's old one, but funny enough, it looks more like a piece of Ida's mask. Well, at least she's looking up at him during the final shot, right? Or so I thought. Then I noticed that Shoto's looking at her too. Wow. Aside from them, there were other tease pairings that went nowhere. Ojiro had a crush on Invisible Girl. Jihai had a crush on Kinoko. Here's but this way, I guess they can keep teasing fans indefinitely. Next, we have Class A's time skip designs. Now, I know how that sounds, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love these designs. I think each and every one of them looks great. However, there is no way this is supposed to be 8 years later. Thanks to leaks, the last image was the first one I saw of the finale. My natural assumption was that this is how they all look after graduation, 2 years later when they've just become professional heroes. Instead, this is them with 6 years of professional experience. It's like Deku just ate a Mario mushroom and called it a day. That's a hard sell for me, but I wonder if sales might have something to do with this. Although the manga is over, this franchise is far from finished. Horikoshi even said as much with a sketch celebrating its future. Back in 2020, it was said that My Hero Academia would be receiving at least 10 films.
Look, I make movies. We put narratives together for dramatic purposes. I've never seen a film that rivaled actual dramatic effects that went on in that game, the back and the forth.
Me, Warren G, and K-Mac, we rode to the game together. And when the game was over with, we got in the car and we rode back home. And it was about 30 minutes of silence. No radio, no music, all you heard was just breathing. Strong, hard, mad breathing.
I think on both sides, everyone knows that we saw maybe the best sporting event, by far the best college event that has ever been played.
You're going to be a football player when you grow up.
Today is the best day of your life. Believe it. He might be the finest quarterback produced in the last 10 years.
He used to be like that. That's all I need.
Fortunately for me, I didn't lose my life. I didn't lose my job. Football convinced me that life is a team game.
Rest of your life, nobody can ever tell you that you couldn't do it.
Jordan's 4 years old now. Nice, man. Growing up like crazy.
My son's almost 8. He starts 2nd grade on Tuesday. He wants to go to either SC, Stanford, or Duke.
Stanford? Wow.
Wow. You probably haven't been back here, huh?
Nearly a decade has passed since Vince Young and Matt Leinart last shared the field in Pasadena. Since #1 USC and #2 Texas staged arguably the greatest college football game of all time. The 2006 Rose Bowl changed lives and expectations, especially for the game's 2 quarterbacks. 2 quarterbacks who are now out of football, when most believed they would still be stars in their prime.
I'm 31 now, so 31. I'm old.
Me too.
The gray hairs, you know what I mean? You know?
You are getting gray.
In their early 20s, both quarterbacks seemed destined for greatness. As a redshirt sophomore, Young rushed for 4 scores in a Texas win over Michigan in the 2005 Rose Bowl.
We're standing in the middle of the field after the game, and they hand me the Rose Bowl trophy, and they're interviewing Vince.
You know the national championship game is here next year. Would you like to come back to Pasadena?
Yes, sir. We'll be back.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back in front of millions of people on TV, and I thought that's probably not the best thing to say tonight, Vince.
It was a bold statement, considering Texas hadn't won a national title since 1970. Championships have become a habit at USC. Under head coach Pete Carroll, the Trojans captured their 2nd straight national title with a win in the 2005 Orange Bowl.
The MVP, Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart had to decide whether to enter the NFL draft or return to USC and attempt to win a 3rd straight national title.
Do you have one more for USC in you?
I got to make a decision quick, but I can't answer that right now, but I just want to, come on. I just want to.
We were in his ear, you know. Everybody was telling him, you got to come back, man. We back to back, and we about to do this 3rd thing, so you have to come back for that.
Ultimately, it was my decision to make, and I woke up the morning of and decided, I remember calling my dad, decided, I'm staying.
I can see why he came back. When you're in sunny California with the palm trees and your nickname is The Bachelor, there's nothing wrong with it.
Having fun, being 21 years old, and the college life, the atmosphere, I just wanted to stay. I mean, it was that simple. Like, I wanted to enjoy my senior year, period.
Leinert's matinee idol looks
Love is not Santa
fit
Claus.
right in with the celebrity culture at USC.
We saw Bobby Boucher.
Just being there in LA, and I mean, we got all the celebrities that used to come and just pop up just out of nowhere.
And Coach Carroll invited those people there. He wanted us to see this environment and live in the moment. And before you know it, you look right, there's Henry Winkler. You look left, Will Ferrell.
And they'll just come in the meeting room, and everybody will be looking like, oh, wow, oh, Kevin Hart, oh, hey. Or, you know, Snoop Dogg, you know, but after a while, you get used to it.
I mean, I actually ended up being, you know, great friends with Snoop.
We wanted to win by 30, 40 points and celebrate and dance and do what we do and have the sideline full of celebrities that was enjoying the game. That's the spirit that Pete Carroll brought back to USC.
Oh, Nelly!
Just as the Trojans had a faithful friend in Snoop Dogg, the Longhorns had their own star supporter. In Texas alumnus Matthew McConaughey.
Took him, baby. Let's get it on. Matthew had been around this football team a lot. He probably came to every game that year. He told the team before the season, he gave them a little talk, and he said that your goal is to win the conference championship. Your dream is to win the national championship.
The Longhorns stampeded through the 2005 season with a roster filled with future NFL starters, like defensive end Brian Arakpo, safety Michael Griffin, and running back Jamal Charles. And the player leading the Longhorns' run to the Rose Bowl was their incomparable quarterback.
Young gets away, great pump fake, gets the first down and then some. Say goodbye to Vince Young.
Jay, he had another amazing season, leading the LSU Tigers to another college football playoffs on his way to a back-to-back Heisman Trophy campaign, along with a national championship victory over Coach Red Boy U and Georgia.
I love Mama!
But things got even better for Bobby after the national championship, because not only did Bobby and Vicky Valancourt get married, but Bobby had found out that his daddy Roberto was alive. And he even showed up to Bobby's wedding to try to convince him to go to the NFL.
Bobby, it's me, your daddy, Roberto. You know, I seen you on the ESPN when they was talking about you being drafted by the NFL.
And although Mama definitely had to get her lick in, because Roberto had deserted them. She didn't think going to the NFL was too bad of an idea.
I'm gonna go do it.
Because since Bobby's already graduated, now it's time for him to go to the NFL and take his talents to Madden. The first thing that Bobby has to do when he gets to the NFL is work out at the scouting combine. And Bobby's never been too far outside of Louisiana before, but he came to Lucas Oil Stadium ready to do what he had to do. And his first workout was the 40-yard dash. You see, Bobby was just learning how to do this only a couple minutes before, so you might be surprised to find out that when he got down in his stance, he got off to a perfect start. He was running down the track like Steve used to do when he was a racehorse. Bobby ended up finishing with a 4.35, which is blazing fast for a linebacker. He then moved on to the bench press, and Bobby always had that sort of country strength in him, so he wasn't too surprised to see that he got 20 reps. And then he moved on to the shuttle and the broad jump. Broad jump he didn't do too bad in, but the shuttle he actually did really well in, ending up with a 4.22. He finished off with some miscellaneous drills before the scouts told him that they thought he did really well today. And after the workout, Bobby had agreed to do a combine interview where people would ask him some football questions. And Bobby actually knew some of the answers from the interview because his teammates told him back at LSU. And other times they would just ask him personal questions, like why he wants an alligator to represent an NFL team.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
And Bobby ended up doing okay on the interview. He was still projected to be a top 10 pick. But when we got to draft day, when you look at the board, it seems like Bobby's already slid to 18th. So he's just sitting there waiting until he gets a call from Coach Klein in the Cincinnati Bengals, telling Bobby that he got a new job in Cincinnati and that he wants him there. And although Bobby doesn't even know where Cincinnati is, he tells Coach that he's ready to go. And finally, Bobby Boucher gets to walk across the stage and start his journey into the NFL. After the draft was over, Bobby signed his contract and had a talk with Coach Klein about what to focus on this preseason. Because just because Bobby made it to the NFL, that didn't mean he had nothing to prove. Because Coach Klein had basically gave him the starting job even though he was a 65 overall. So Bobby Boucher was looking to play well, going into his first NFL action in the preseason against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now that Bobby's finally in the NFL, he decided that he needs to stay locked in and just see what's in front of him. So starting off Bobby Boucher's NFL career here off on 1st and 10, he's seeing pretty quickly how good this Bengals defense could really be. Because not even 3 plays in, this Bengals defense is already forcing a safety. But Bobby wanted to prove that he can make an impact on this team too. So right here on 1st and 10, you see Bobby Boucher bursting into the backfield to get the first tackle for loss of his career. And Bobby is making it very clear that he's not going to be scared of anybody. The Buccaneers did make some pretty good plays this game, like this pass that went up the middle. But Bobby was doing a great job making an impact early enough in this game that Coach Klein decided it was best to take the rest of the starters out, because they've seen enough to know that Bobby Boucher is going to do big things in this league. But being in the NFL now, reporters are going to want to ask questions all the time now. Like one reporter had asked Bobby how it feels starting his first season with the Bengals, and Bobby just told him that he's honored to be playing and have an opportunity to make more friends. But before Bobby got into his first regular season game in the NFL, he went on ahead about upgrading his ratings. And the first thing that he decided to upgrade was his hit power, because he knows that's one thing that's going to come mostly in handy for him in the NFL. And now Bobby was excited as ever going into his first regular season game against the New England Patriots. Starting this game off later in the first quarter, this Drake May-led New England Patriots team was not playing very well, finding themselves way behind sticks by the time the first 4th down came along. But now down 10, this Patriots team was doing their best to move the ball on Bobby's Bengals defense. And for a couple plays, they were doing pretty well, getting themselves down past midfield. But as New England continued to move downfield, somebody on this Bengals defense was going to have to make a play. So who else but Bobby Boucher with the first pick of his NFL career. Everybody's so excited that even Drake May's happy for him. You can't help but feel like this is just going to be the first of many, and Bobby Boucher will continue to make plays just like this one. Bobby's Bengals found themselves up 20, and New England was having a pretty hard time moving the ball now. And it definitely didn't make it easy when they tried to throw it to Bobby's zone across the middle. But eventually New England would find some success in this game, eventually getting themselves down into the red zone, and then ultimately into the end zone for their first score of the game. But after the Bengals offense kept scoring, and New England's offense kept finding ways to turn the ball over, it eventually became enough for Bobby's Bengals to win their first game of their regular season. But before Bobby gets into his next game, he gets another interview from a reporter asking Bobby where he finds the most success during the game.
That's a good question. What happens is the center has the ball first, and quarterback will say hike. That's when the center puts the ball into the hands of the quarterback. So what I'll do is I'll start tackling the quarterback unless he give the ball to somebody else, in which case I'll try to tackle that person.
What the hell? Now that Bobby was done with the interview, he was ready to get into his next game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting this game off in the rain on 1st and 10. And his Bengals defense came ready today because they pick off Patrick Mahomes on the very first play.
Picked by Logan Wilson, and the Bengals will have solid field position.
But obviously with Mahomes being Mahomes and the Chiefs being the Chiefs, you can always expect that they're going to make a few plays of their own.
That ball caught. It's Rice.
By the second quarter, Bobby was making his presence felt by getting a nice tackle for loss here on first down, and then stopping the ball carrier right in his tracks here on second down.
And he's able to break out just a chip.
Eventually, this Bengals defense would hold them to a field goal, and luckily, they would hold this Chiefs offense pretty much all game. There was a few plays where Coach Klein got suspicious of the Chiefs and figured that maybe they're paying off the refs. And then there was the play where Travis Kelce started making fun of Bob.
Hey, moron!
Dude, look at me. I'm the waterboard, dude.
Stop making fun of me.
Damn.
Bobby had pretty much knocked Travis into next Sunday. But for now, they had to finish the game that was being played on this Sunday, and it wasn't going to be easy. Especially playing against a team that felt like they could score any time that they wanted to.
And that's caught inside the 35. And he takes this one into the end zone.
But luckily, the scoring was a little too late for the Chiefs, and Bobby's Bengals were able to escape Arrowhead with a victory. The following week at practice, one of Bobby's teammates pulls him to the side and tells him that he believes he's going to dominate this game. And Bobby just appreciates that people actually believe in him like that.
Thanks, friend.
And Bobby definitely didn't want to let anybody down. So he went into next week fired up and ready to go against the Washington Commanders. Starting this game off on 2nd and 6, Bobby Boucher is finding himself in the backfield for a tackle for loss. And the rest of Bobby's defense was really doing their thing as well, because they didn't let the Commanders pass their own 40-yard line up until the fourth quarter. But even right here on this 4th and 5, when they were trying to keep moving down the field, it was Bobby Boucher who would say, "No way." And not only put an end to that drive, but give him the second pick of his season. And with Bobby's Bengals absolutely dominating Jaden Daniels and the rest of this Washington Commander offense, it was no surprise that after this big hit, the Commanders were ready to give up, and Bobby's Bengals would walk out of the stadium with their first shutout victory of the season. But this NFL season was moving fast, and maybe a little too fast, because next thing he knew, Bobby was already getting into his next game against the Carolina Panthers. And as more weeks went by, the more Bobby missed his mama. But Bobby doesn't have time to worry about that right now, because we start this game off on 1st and 10, where Carolina completes a big pass upfield. Bobby would find himself a little bit distracted on this play, because he just watches as the running back walks into the end zone for a touchdown. But the Bengals did bounce back. Maybe not so much on offense, but on defense they did get a stop next drive. And eventually they were able to force a field goal not just once, but twice before the first half.
Patterson's kick is good.
But I think Carolina could tell that Bobby's heart and spirit was not really in it this game, because they were doing a good job driving down the field here on first down, and eventually they would punch it in from goal to extend their lead. But that didn't mean Bobby would give up, because he would rush into the backfield to stop the quarterback for a loss. But right here, Bobby is not focused, and he allows a big first down right here from Carolina that pretty much ends this game. And as you can see, Bobby is running off the field before the time runs out. He's not really taking this loss too well. Although he missed his mama, Bobby knew that he still had a job to do. So he still worked hard and trained to get better. And that helped him prepare for his next game against the Baltimore Ravens. Going into this Ravens game, Coach Klein tells Bobby that Lamar Jackson is one of the fastest players in the league, and a good way to stop him is to get to him before he goes anywhere. So Bobby tries his best here to start this game off. And is able to get his first sack of his NFL career. Bobby's Bengals would get a stop on this drive before letting up an absolute bomb of a play down the middle on the next.
And this is into the hands of Andrews downfield.
But the Bengals did a great job holding the Ravens to a field goal. And even down at the goal line, Bobby was doing everything he could to make sure that the Ravens did not get into the end zone.
Who that? Who there?
But the Ravens were admittedly persistent, not only getting into the end zone here on this drive, before making it down into the red zone the next drive, before Lamar Jackson throws a pick into the end zone with 30 seconds left that would ultimately seal the deal, allowing Bobby and the Bengals to finish out the week with another victory. But before Bobby got into his next game, he wanted to start his ratings over from scratch, because he realized that if he diversifies his talents, he could potentially make a bigger impact all over the field. So Bobby wanted to balance out his skills going into his next game against the New York Giants. Starting this game off on first down, Bobby is already making an impact, getting into the backfield for a TFL. And Bobby's Bengals really never let up on Daniel Jones this day, because they would continuously find themselves in the backfield screaming at his face, and even eventually forcing a fumble like they did right here on this play. And this Bengals player was able to pick the ball up and go all the way to the other side of the field for a Cincinnati Bengal touchdown. And this just felt like another game where almost the entire game, Bobby's Bengals did not allow the opponent to even step past midfield. And that would be 100% true for this game, other than the one drive where the Giants were able to find some success getting downfield and eventually into the end zone to tie the game up. But after another half where the Giants had either gone continuously 3 and out or turned the ball over just like they did here on this play, eventually this game was well out of reach, and Bobby's Bengals were ready to leave New York with another victory. The following week at practice, Coach Klein pulls Bobby aside to tell him that he's not going to be there for a couple weeks, but not to ask why. And although Bobby did think that was weird, he didn't really have time to think about it too much, because his quarterback Joe Burrow also pulled him aside. Apparently Nick Chubb had called him out.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
But you see, Bobby don't play that. So Bobby and the Bengals went into their next game against Cleveland, fired up and ready to go. We start this game off on 1st and 10 where Bobby's Bengals are living in the backfield. But Nick Chubb had started this game with his X Factor on, and he was looking for something to prove of his own. But when Bobby heard about what Deshaun Watson did with all those girls at the massage parlor, he knew he had to make them pay. So right here, Bobby drops back into coverage and says, "Hey, this ain't no massage parlor, Deshaun. There ain't gonna be no happy ending today." But Bobby wasn't done yet, because he wanted to make everybody pay by forcing a fumble right here that gets picked up by the Bengals. But for some reason, this guy Nick Chubb thinks it's a good idea to start talking crazy to Bobby again.
Ooh, I'm a football player.
Coach, I'd like to tackle him right now.
And that wasn't a good idea. And right as you think it can't get worse for the Browns, Deshaun Watson throws another pick. And Bobby Boucher is lighting Nick Chubb up once again. Now the Browns did get into the end zone a couple times in the fourth quarter. But by the end of the game, Cleveland knew that it was a bad idea to start talking crazy to Bobby's Bengals, as they were handed a 27-15 divisional loss. But that game was nothing, not compared to the huge matchup the Bengals had going into next week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Starting this game off on 2nd down, Bobby is making his presence felt with a big hit, and did a great job finding himself in the backfield early, taking Saquon Barkley down to the ground. But the Philadelphia Eagles would prove to be a worthy opponent by scoring a touchdown on their opening drive. And this game would remain a low-scoring game throughout the majority of the first half, because although the Eagles found themselves back at the goal line, Bobby's Bengals were able to hold them to a field goal this time. And when Philadelphia once again made their way back into goal-to-goal territory, Bobby made sure to put a stop to that single-handedly. And it almost looked like 2 of his teammates wanted to marry him for it. But perhaps that was a little premature, because Philadelphia would find themselves in the end zone later on in the fourth quarter, leaving it up to the Bengals offense to regain the lead back, which they did. But the secondary unit of Bobby's Bengals defense was not focused this game. And that became evidently clear in the fourth quarter as they let up another touchdown, allowing the Eagles to take the lead back with around 30 seconds left. But one thing that Bobby never had at LSU that he definitely has here is an offense that can score almost any time that they need to. And Bobby Boucher can't help but be incredibly grateful for that, because as Philadelphia throws up this last Hail Mary, he knows that as the ball hits the turf, the main reason why the Bengals have won this game is because of the offense. And he could never really say that back in LSU. But Bobby didn't have too much time to celebrate, because he and the Cincinnati Bengals needed to finish out their home stretch against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders came out this game stronger than Bobby thought they would, as he was introduced to one of the better receivers in the league, Devontae Adams. But Bobby's Bengals were able to put a stop to the Raiders' opening drive and force them to just a field goal. And the Bengals defense would continue to prevent points on third down, or at least hold the Raiders to a field goal without Bobby having to ever really get involved. But Bobby would begin to make his mark in this game right here on 2nd and inches by laying a big hit to the running back. But by the fourth quarter, Bobby had sense that the Raiders were about to break. So he rushed through the line of scrimmage and said on the running back, forcing a fumble and allowing Cincinnati to pick the ball up and put some more points on the board. And he would continue to do his thing on the next drive, laying the perfect boomstick right here on the tight end. But then out of nowhere, the Raiders were able to find a man downfield who took it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown, bringing this game just a little bit closer. But when Bobby Boucher was lurking around the middle, ready to take your head off, and I guess there wasn't really much that could be done, especially if you're Gardner Minshew. So Bobby's Bengals would win another game at home 20-13, and they were riding high going into the back half of the season. But going into the following week, Bobby decided to mess around with some of his abilities to see what could potentially help him make a bigger impact. And he figured he would need it going into another divisional game against the Baltimore Ravens. We start this game off with Bobby's Bengals doing a pretty good job on defense throughout the first quarter. But the Ravens were showing some real determination throughout this game, finding themselves in a position to get in the end zone and take this lead in the second quarter. But Bobby knew the best way to respond would be by putting Derrick Henry in the dirt. The rest of the defense followed Bobby's lead by putting an end to the drive on back-to-back Ravens possessions. Sometimes, though, Bobby would be too busy thinking about mama, because sometimes he would let the team down by letting up a big play, like he did right here. A lot of times his team would have his back, though, getting in position to get an interception and get the Bengals offense in position to put points up. And even when the two-time MVP Lamar Jackson has an opportunity to bring the Ravens back in this game, he can't help but succumb to Bobby's Bengals defense, as they pick him off and return the ball all the way to the other side for a touchdown to extend this lead and end this game. And with the Bengals now having taken care of the Ravens twice this year, Bobby was pretty excited to fly out to Los Angeles for his first time ever and take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Bobby's Bengals did not get off to a good start this game, allowing a touchdown early on in the Chargers' opening drive. They would regain some momentum by preventing points backed up on their goal line by forcing a turnover on Justin Herbert right here. But in the first half, the Bengals just did not seem to be too locked in. Bobby would, though, begin to make his mark by helping his teammate make a tackle right here on this play. But for some reason, it just seemed like the Chargers were having their way with the Bengals, finding themselves in the end zone for the third time in one half. But Bobby was doing everything he could to keep his Bengals alive, even if that meant smacking the horseradish out of a running back, forcing a fumble to create a turnover. But with the Bengals not scoring and the Chargers continuing to move downfield, it was only a matter of time before this game got out of hand. And to say that it got out of hand was kind of an understatement, because before you knew it, the Chargers had put up 49 points on Bobby's Bengals defense. And Bobby didn't really know how to handle it at first, so he just sat on the bench after the game. And he figured maybe if he just continues trading harder, he might forget about how much he misses mama, while also getting better at football. And it was something that Bobby felt like he was going to need going into one of his last home games of the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Starting this game on first down, Bobby is absolutely destroying this poor ball carrier. Now, I don't think he feels too bad about it, because later on in this drive, he does it again. The Bengals would force Pittsburgh to a missed field goal before Bobby got right back to giving the Steelers running back CTE. And to his credit, Bobby was really doing his part this game. I mean, he was getting in the backfield and trying to make a play almost every series. But the Bengals were having a hard time scoring this game, and the Steelers unfortunately didn't. But it wasn't just the offense or the defense that was playing bad. Because at the end of the day, the Bengals still didn't have Coach Klein. So when they could have called a timeout to give themselves a chance, nobody decided to do it, leaving Bobby's Bengals with another loss on their record. But Bobby knew the home stretch of the season was coming and he was a little bit closer to going home to see Mama. So Bobby continued to do the best that he could at practice, preparing for his next couple games on the road, first of which is against the Dallas Cowboys. Bobby's Bengals were looking to bounce back by making big plays early on in this game. But the Dallas Cowboys were no slouch of a team, because Dak Prescott was finding men open left and right, and eventually he found one in the end zone for a touchdown. But Bobby wanted to make sure that they didn't lose anymore. So right here, he dropped back into coverage and said, "Wang!" And right before halftime, Bobby Boucher is racing down the sideline, going for the first touchdown of his NFL career. And it was a great thing that Bobby really showed up this game, because his daddy Roberto actually told him that the reason why he abandoned him and his mama back in the day is because he lost a bunch of money betting on the Dallas Cowboys in the 80s. So now Bobby wanted revenge on the Cowboys for ruining his family. And Ezekiel Elliott is there to pay for it right here. But once again, the Dallas Cowboys didn't seem to be a team full of punks, as they continued to drive down the field and punch it in on a running play right here. But with the Bengals offense able to take the ball and chew the clock out, they were able to escape Dallas with a victory. But at practice the next week, Coach Klein returned, and he told Bobby that it's probably best that he doesn't go home to Mama for a couple weeks. And although Bobby thought that was crazy, he had to worry about that after, because for now he had a big game against the Tennessee Titans. We start this game off on first down where Bobby is just playing out of his mind, and he wants to get this game over with quick. So on this play, he drops back into coverage and says, "Yeah!" Taking this interception back to the house for his second pick six in 2 weeks. But Bobby wasn't done yet, because he still wanted to let out some frustration. The Bengals defense continued to play almost as well as they have all season, by snatching another interception and going back to the crib for a pick six. And although the Titans would put their little points up and make this game somewhat close, this game was pretty much over before it started, because Bobby, well, he was ready to go contact his mama and try to see what was going on. He just couldn't understand why Coach Klein would tell him not to go see his mama, and Bobby just did not feel right about that. So he went on home anyway, and accepted any fines that his team was sending his way. And Bobby was shocked to find out what he saw when he got home, because it turns out that Coach Klein and Mama are seeing each other, and they try to convince him that it was okay, but Bobby left anyway. And now going into the final stretch of the season, Bobby Boucher was nowhere to be found, and now Bobby's Bengals were starting to struggle without him, as they lost some of their last few games. They didn't really know what their identity was now, and plus they were all just real worried about Bobby. There was some reports about Bobby riding around on a lawnmower, but without Bobby Boucher, the Bengals would finish out their season with another loss against the Steelers. Eventually though, Bobby would come back, and Coach Klein would tell him that he's sorry for not telling him about his mama, and that they were both looking for the right time to tell Bobby. And Bobby does find a way to understand, and puts it all behind him in order to focus on his new friends that he's made here in Cincinnati. So he gets right back to crushing it at practice, before getting into his first playoff game against Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. Starting this playoff game in the first quarter, Bobby Boucher feels like a new man. He's got clarity about what's going on with Coach Klein and his mama, and he's giving the Chargers clarity about putting them to sleep. You see, Bobby had never felt as locked in for a game like he was this game. He felt like he was making plays all over the field, whether it was stopping people right in their tracks, or dropping back into coverage and saying, "Hey, give me that ball," intercepting Justin Herbert to put his offense in position to finally put points up in this game. And just because they do, it doesn't mean the Chargers offense is going to give up, because they remember how bad they beat the Bengals early on in the year. So they feel like all they got to do is just keep moving down the field, and eventually they'll find themselves in the end zone.
That's completed right side to Palmer. Touchdown, Chargers.
And the Chargers really just showed exactly how much they were feeling that, by going for a long touchdown later on right here in the second quarter. But Bobby didn't want this Bengals season to end just yet. He felt bad for missing a few games, so He did everything they could to extend their season by any means necessary.
Powerbomb, complimented Captain Insano.
But the rest of Bobby's Bengals were not locked in as they drop an interception right here. That could have definitely changed the outcome of this game. Bobby finds himself out of position, allowing a huge play down the field halfway through the fourth. And was maybe a couple feet here from getting another interception in this game. But instead, the drive ends with points for the Chargers. And now with the hands of the Bengals offense, all Bobby can do is watch as Joe Burrow tries his best to lead this offense down the field and take back the lead, which eventually they do. And Bobby came out trying to set the tone for his defense by laying some big hits. And it seemed to work as the Bengals defense was able to hold the Chargers to 3 points in this drive. But now going into Bobby's first overtime of his NFL career, he sees that the Chargers elected to receive. So Bobby knows that his defense needs to make some plays here in order to give the offense a chance. And although Bobby rocks Justin Herbert here, he gets the first down. And although Bobby absolutely rocks the ball carrier here, they pick up that set of first downs. And Bobby would continue this trend of causing brain damage before forcing a fumble that is immediately picked up by the Chargers. Luckily for the Bengals, though, the Chargers would miss this field goal. But the offense was unable to score, giving the Chargers another opportunity to go downfield and take this game on the road. But I think someone had other plans. Because right here he drops back into coverage and Bobby Boucher intercepts the pass and he's going into the end zone for a touchdown! I mean, can you believe this? This has got to be one of the craziest victories in Bengals history. You see Coach Klein and Bobby hyped, and they got to pick up Justin Herbert off the floor. And you see Bobby's Bengals celebrating in the locker room because they are excited that they are moving on to the next round. And looking at the playoff bracket, they're all just excited to see who they're playing next. And at practice that week, Joe Burrow just tells Bobby how much he appreciates him.
Thank you all so much for being my friends.
And that's the kind of love and support the Bengals would need to give each other going into the biggest game of the season against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting this game off on second down, the Chiefs are showing exactly why they're in the position they're in, completing a huge pass downfield to move the sticks. But Bobby's Bengals were ready. Bobby's Bengals were no match for the Chiefs today, as they kicked the field goal with under 20 seconds left to extend the lead to 2 possessions, resulting in Bobby Boucher's rookie season coming to a close. After the game, Bobby is being interviewed by some of the reporters, and he made some comments that might make people suggest that he wants to be out of there, stating that some changes need to be made. Well, I'm not exactly sure what that means quite yet, but for now we find out that Mahomes wins MVP, and Bobby Boucher actually comes 7th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Definitely not bad for his rookie year. But of course, Bobby Boucher ends up winning Defensive Rookie of the Year himself. I mean, there is a reason why they call it Bobby's Bengals. In the Super Bowl, the Packers did find a way to take down the Chiefs, finally bringing the Lombardi back home. And as far as Bobby's stats for the season, I mean 66 total tackles with 18 TFLs and 5 interceptions. Maybe if Bobby plays those 3 games, he actually wins Defensive Player of the Year. Hopefully Bobby can improve on that, but that's really up to you guys. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Bobby Boucher.
The Dante Scarnecchia motherfucking instructional video, how to motherfuck people into submission?
No.
Oh.
Explain it.
Unbelievable. So rookies were doing a terrible job with their rookie skits one year. And I'm like, we got to do something to make them laugh. So I brought my stuff because I lived in Foxborough, and we stayed the Residence Inn, and you're trapped in that hotel for a month during training camp. So I brought my film equipment in, and we sat there in the Residence Inn and shot this thing with the rookies, and I directed it. And it was basically like if you watch like one of those, not an infomercial, but like where they're selling things on TV. So it was like, you want to learn, it started out with one of the rookies, and I can't remember this kid's name, he was a lineman. You want to learn how to motherfuck people? Are you tired of being taken advantage of as a leader? Do you want to get your people to get in line? Are you not being as productive as you know you could be? Well, here's your chance. Dante Scarnecchia's patented system designed to motherfuck everybody into submission. And it was amazing because I wrote down every one of his sayings for years and years. I always had a notepad. Like if I was awake, it was just to do something stupid like that. And so I had every one of his sayings, and then we had a scrolling list, and it was playing this. It was playing the song. I thought this was awesome. I will be your father figure. Put your tiny hand in mine. You know that song?
Yes.
And it's playing in the background. I thought that was so awesome. It was like little things that I found funny. Probably if nobody else did, but it's like. And then I had Ryan O'Callahan was the voiceover for "You'll Learn the Classics," like. If you don't think that shit sucks, you can go fuck yourself. And it just kept listing all these classic
What were
Dante
some of his
lines.
sayings?
Ass eyes. He loved to call people ass eyes. You're not worth hammered shit. Remember him saying that? That's not worth hammered shit. If you think that shit's the way to go, then you can go. I mean, like, it like just kept listing them all the way down. And then what I thought was a stroke of genius, I had Steve Neal and myself. We sat in front. You know how they had the curtains at the Residence Inn, and we were on the first floor, so there was a light outside, but it was dark. And so I shot, and it was a silhouette. So it was like Tony the Tiger. You could just see like our silhouette. And we sat there and made it look like we were talking, but we made the rookies say, or no, we said it, and we had the rookies be the silhouette. And I would be like, Steve's like, I've been in Dante Scarnecchia's motherfucking system for 4 years now. And I can honestly tell you, it works. That guy can really fuck you. You know, like he's like giving a testimonial, and then there's another guy giving a testimonial. So we play that for the rookie skits. I turn around to see Dante's expression, and he's just like stone cold, just like looking at the screen. No emotion. I look over at Bill. Bill's, because you know how much Bill loved the rookie skits.
Loved them.
Oh my gosh.
Talking about them last night at the roast.
Yeah.
What's your best Ernie Adams story?
Oh,
we
my
had him
God.
out here.
Oh my God. Oh, you know what? I knew that. Somebody told me that you had him here, and I have to go watch that because and I'm sure you're exactly the same way. Love Ernie.
I love Ernie.
Oh my gosh. By the way, genius in the markets back in the day.
Oh yeah. I asked him like I used to ask him all the time. Everyone heard the rumors that he made Bill a bunch of money in the market or something.
Yeah, he was on a trading floor, man. That guy was in it. You know, commodities, the whole nine.
Yeah.